This is the soldering station, which I've been asked to quickly review for someone, so here we go. Complete unboxing. And a quick glance, see what's going on, and then I'll probably do another video of how it works later. Damn, I'm loving this new knife. Doesn't smell like COVID, so we should be fine. Faint bit of petrol smell, probably from the freshly minted, yeah. Alright, one tweezer set giving you a nice little set of pullers and tweezers and whatnot. So hopefully I'm getting that in the view of the camera, but anyway, so that's good. Layer of foam, about 2 centimeters thick, give or take. 2-in-1 soldering station manual. In English. Seems to be fairly well documented. We don't do that. Oh yeah, get that fresh smell about it. Everything is in plastic. Oh, this does feel good actually. Squeeze, and hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. Looks pretty good. Bit of oxidization on the tip of that though. It's alright, it's obviously being tested, so that's a good thing. Attention please, put the handle on the breaker before power on. Oh, good advice. And this plug feels alright. It's metal, so it's okay. What I might do is use this foam so I don't damage my table any more than it already is. Soldering iron, same tip. Oh, this feels like good rubber. You probably won't melt the. I don't want to test it, but you probably can't melt the thing with that. ESD safe, 70 watt, 24 volts. Got the round tip on it. Can I? Yep, I can finger. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Why is that moving? Okay, it's probably just for rubber. That's just a silicon rubber thing. I can't take that off without a tool. Looks cool. Power cord. A bunch of tips. And what I'm curious about is whether or not the tips will actually be decent. So they're hollow, which is I'm trying to hold it up to the screen, but I don't realise where the screen is upside down. These are hollow. Yep, hollow as hell. Anyway, okay. Decent amount of tips, although this knife edge looking one looks awesome. It's not really, not that it should be sharp, but it's got this weird beveled looking thing on it. They look pretty basic, but they're probably going to do the business. And you get a significant amount of them. Really fine tips and some flat ones. I'm pretty happy with that. So the stand, which has a hole for all the tips. Try and make this video as quick as possible. Little dicky sponge. Aluminium. Light is, well, reasonably light, but got enough weight to it. I'm not going to sort of move around. It will slide around the desk or whatever. Hot nozzles, 4 of them in total, from the little skinny one to the big chunky fat one, including a screw to mount the stand on the unit itself. And the rest is foam. Cool. Jesus. Alright, so what the hell is going on here? Let's have a look. Plastic, rubber feet, not aligned, but hey, cool. Oh, this knob feels good. That's a good knob. I like a good knob. Haha. It is you can feel a click with every notch, every increment. That's nice. Buttons are good. They don't move around when you press them. These are pretty good. all those switches, all they're good. And yep, okay, well, I'm pretty happy with that, but I think what we need to do is take it apart, have a look at it. The main concern is that there's, from seeing another video of this being taken apart, there's clearly no main switch, so it's on when you turn it on, and I'll confirm that, but pretty sure that will be the case. So I think we'll have to mod this, maybe fix a ground wire problem that was in the other one that's still present, and stick a switch here of some kind, but I don't have a rocker switch, so might have to leave that until I get one. So that's it for this moment, and I'll move and change around it and show you the rest. Okay, let's take this sucker apart. Looks like this will be the little one, and yeah, we're good to go. Okay. Again, there's that bit of a petrol smell, which is coming from, I think it's still coming from the phone, but this transformer looks pretty bloody good actually. Nice and clean, everything's clean as a whistle. Solder joints are perfectly adequate. There's no shrink wrap or shielding over these. That's a safety concern, there should be. And yeah, it's grounded to the transformer, that's fine. Ground wire, I guess, for the yellow there. What's going on? Another ground wire. Okay. Actually looks pretty bloody good. This is identical to what I saw on another video out there, so sorry for the upside down view. Okay, well look, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I would definitely add a mod in line here with this switch to obviously put a switch in here with this power socket. There might be, perhaps once I have a look at this, because clearly what's happening here is there's two connections here, and there's no shielding again on these pins, but probably not a huge deal. But I would, they've done it for this, so they should do it for the switch. So maybe I'd go ahead and make mods like that, and then just fix that up. Beyond that though, it doesn't look too bad, but if needed, maybe a heatsink for this guy here. Other than that, there's clearly a heatsink for the other trannies there and there, and then there's none for those, so they're probably not going to get that hot anyway. Overall, I think this looks like a pretty decent job, and there's heaps of room, so you can customise it or do something with it if it's not meeting the needs. I certainly wouldn't add too much to this, at least, unless you want to run the risk of drawing too much. But yeah, decent amount of weight to the transistor as well. To the transformer, sorry, is got a decent amount of weight to it, and it looks like it will last in terms of quality. So I'm pretty happy with this purchase. I'll put it all back together. I'll turn it on and we'll run it and see how we go. I do notice there's two trim pots here. I wonder if they've been pre-tuned to anything, or whether there's a bit of adjustment necessary to maybe get the temperature just where you think it should be. So I'm getting a infrared thermometer at some point, so maybe it'll be worth testing the iron and the heater against the values I think it is, and then seeing if adjusting this will make a difference. The fact that they're there though, either to trim voltage, which will then potentially trim the temperature, I'm assuming, that's a good sign. So okay, well, it's turned on, and this is exactly what I was talking about. It will just be on until you unplug it. So having a main switch makes more sense, and I don't know why it's not there, but nevertheless. The other issue, of course, is that through here, whether or not that can come through on the camera, and I can't quite see, but take my word for it, through these grills is the pins that go to the plug and the switch. The switches aren't protected from from any sort of contact. There's no wrapping or anything around them. So of course, naturally, if a bit of solder or wire or something you cut off flies up and gets its way in there, which isn't unheard of, you've only got a few mil of clearance, you can have a dead short mains. Yeah. So no, not good. We'll definitely need to put some protection there. And other mods I mean, depending on the heat of this thing, you might want to put a fan in, but certainly have enough surface area to mount a fan, so it's quite possible. So anyway, it's on. Let's plug one in and find out whether or not it actually works. Now, these are actually got different pins in them, so you can't mix it up, and this has a lot of them. So, and it says hot air, so we can't really go wrong. It's idiot proof, just as well I'm an idiot. There you go, that easy. Once it's on, you're not going to touch it. I guess in theory you're going to put one of these on, so let's see how quick and easy it is to do that. I'm probably only going to use this little one anyway. Oh geez, like I bought one. The only issue is you're going to need to do the whole screw thing. So that's interesting, the screws mounted on some of them, not the others. But nevertheless they are included, so great. If I can fish them out, we'll be laughing. And I did. So I guess it doesn't really matter which way, but I'm just going to put this on gingerly, as they say. Meaning not really tight at all, because I don't have tools with me to at reach to do it. So I guess that's the only annoying thing with this clamp method, is that of mounting these, is that of course you stuff it up and this drops off, whereas the bayonet ones sort of just work. In theory that should be tight. Yep, and it is tight. So yeah, you probably need to use a screwdriver and or pliers on that. Okay, so that is on, and as to the rotation you can work out what works. Look at that, it even tells you that's hot. But it's made for left-handers. I mean, most people are right-handed, so yeah. But I mean, that just doesn't work. And no, hot that way. There you go, whoever made this was left-handed. Okay, it's on. It's going to instantly probably go up to 300, I'm assuming, but we'll do that. And this will have to be the air, maybe. Right, I have no action. This might be a safety thing. Maybe it needs to be on the stand first and then lift it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's actually really good in case you were stupid enough to leave it somewhere and didn't bother. Now, I won't lie, there is a bit of an odour coming out of this, and that's smoking, so I might just bring that down. I've got smoke, so that's now off. Okay, that's not good, not a good sign at all. Yep, that's definitely smoke. Alright, well, just as well as I'm recording this, because I might have to have a little email with the seller. Could just be this this kit, or there's just a bit of plastic inside it somewhere that's just melting off. It honestly does smell a bit, it's not electronic, it smells a bit chemical, and it has stopped. So now that's actually interesting to know. Now I've turned this off, the lights aren't blinking at all, the fan is still engaged. That is not a good sign, I would think. Not necessarily a good sign. So, okay, that's still hot air. This would melt the plastic, this would melt my camera lens. That is hot. That's not just a little bit hot, that's proper hot. Alright, I'm going to have to yank the plug on that one. As far as I'm concerned, the heating element was engaged that entire time. that was off. Safety problem. I might have to contact the seller about that one. So, okay, I think maybe this wand might be defective possibly, but then why is there current coming out of that? Might put the multimeter on it and have a quick look. Alright, so here we are, got the multimeter. I think it's actually still a little bit warm, to be honest, to touch. So it must have got frickin' hot frickin' quick. Clearly something's overloaded, or maybe a MOSFET has already gone in it. That's my conclusion without looking at anything. Okay, this is going to be one of those tilt jobs. Keeping in mind that's still hot, and find my fingers without touching it. So what I'm going to do is just plug it in, and obviously the wand isn't connected. Is this upside down? Must be. No? Yes? Was right. Okay. So it is now officially on. Oh, it is still hot. No, it's sort of on. It's on and blinking. Okay. So let's just see if we can get any sort of voltages, and maybe just assume the middle pin's a ground pin. I don't know. I shouldn't be getting anything. Should not detect a single one iota of anything. Well. Oh, hang on. -9. What's going on here? -4. Obviously I've got some polarity around the wrong way, but oh, there you go, there's 5 volts coming out. I mean, 5 volts coming out with nothing. 0.9. Point something. We're clearly getting some form of voltage. I mean, I'm not as concerned now than where I was a moment ago. So let's just we'll bring that down a bit anyway. Yep. So apparently it goes down to 100 is the lowest temperature, which is correct. I do love how quickly that changes. That's brilliant. Alright, I should be seeing some. Now, there might be something in there that has to be bridged or grounded with the wand before it turns on, but I get the feeling it won't be that sophisticated, but then again it might be. Does the plot thicken? Something up in there. Well, I mean, we are getting some. There's definitely 5 volts happening somewhere. Here we are, probably good 10 minutes or so. Wand is still warm here, and actually, yeah, that's hot. That's uncomfortable hot. That's just boiled the kettle hot. Ow, 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 ow. So the heat that this got up to must have been excessive. It was, to be honest, I would say it was red hot. Red hot, but of course we had the nozzle on, so lesson learnt. Something bad's going on there. I think realistically we're in for a world of hurt with this. I would say we have a fault, probably with a MOSFET or something inside, but based on the video I saw of someone having the same problem, and he ended up replacing it. So that being the case, I'll assume this is a DOA product, but let's, for argument's sake, just see what we get out of the okay, it doesn't like the fact that nothing's connected, which isn't that interesting. Anyway, I don't know if the meter is on the camera. I have to sort of look. Ooh, okay, something's going on there maybe. There you go. So there's 5 volts coming out of that. Nothing. Ah, see, look at that. Hopefully my bloody meter doesn't blow up. So it clearly sort of thought, hey, you know, there's something on there for a second. When you, looks like when you ground a couple of pins, or. So at this stage I can only see 5 volts coming out of this. obviously it's not. It's a bit smarter to know that it's, you know, it's not on properly. So I'm not going to take this apart and then probe it, that's for sure. But to my mind, there's clearly a bit more going on. I might see if we can take off the nozzle and have a bit of a look. See if we can't see it overheating. Now, I won't, you'll have to take my word for it, I'm not going to do that because I like having a camera. I don't want to fry the lens. But we'll do one quick look at how this is going. So they apparently, you know, stick it on that, plug it in, and Bob's your auntie. I'm going to just plug it in, but I'm going to not secure it so I can yank it out if need be. And we'll keep that down low. Turn that on real quick. Make sure it's on 100. And I'm just looking for it. I'm just looking off camera to see if it's heating up. So I might just go to 150. Now, interestingly, I can feel warmth, but we have no joy of the fan. That's interesting, isn't it? Might just put it back down again and lift it up like I did before. There we go. Now maybe that's an indication of a fault, not a safety feature. But it's at 150. It's on a nice low. And wow, that heat, that's more than 100. I'll quickly just ramp it up. As far as I'm concerned, the fan works perfectly fine. From a noise point of view, now actually I'm feeling, sort of feels okay. It is saying it's heating up though. Now the goal isn't obviously to check that it doesn't just heat up ridiculously crazy because I turned it up ridiculously crazy. I just want to see if it goes to like 500 degrees or whatever the hell it's capable of going up to whilst being set low. Now I can feel cool air being sucked in through the fan below my hand and hot on the top. That's sort of sitting at this 109 and it feels like the same temperature. It's a bit hard to call, but I think I'll be contacting the manufacturer or the seller at least and saying, yeah, excuse me, watch this video. So hello. No, that is still sitting there. So that's, I don't know what to make of that. I would expect that to be getting hotter. Okay. Apparently it dropped to 120. I swear I turned it up. 110, but anyway, go to 120. Yeah, I can feel it. We'll go to 150. Look, to be honest, it does feel as though it is getting warmer. Yeah, I mean, it hurts if I leave my hand there at 150, as it should. So what I'm going to do now is drop it, and we'll drop it to half fan. We'll drop the temperature down to 100. Oh shit. That's something that's going to piss me off. You'd think that's down and that's up like on the other similar models, the similar cheap ones. That is coming down, and it's thinking it's going to stay there. So if I go down to 100, I mean, that's bizarre that it sort of now just works. What happened, you know? Is it safe? Is it just the fact that that wasn't on as well? I would think you wouldn't want to use both of these at the same time, but presumably you can. That's still going to obviously not connected, so. Look, put that there. It's turned off. Yeah. It would seem that everything is working, right? So just tighten that up. Just try that again with that on. Did that make a difference? Shouldn't. Alright, that's up. So it's up and down. That makes sense, doesn't it? I'm going to go to the max because I'm feeling frisky. 480. Alright. Now that's visibly red. I'll just quickly glance that across the camera so you can see. That is red. Red hot. Oh yeah, she's hot. They'll melt the table if I'm getting too close. So I'm going to bring that down to that. Yep, it's not hot anymore. It is cooling down. Maybe there was just some plastic around the element, like, you know, the parts weren't completely unwrapped when they were installed, and I'm still a bit sort of, hey, you know, it's a bit how you doing. Supposedly that's cooling down, and it respects the airflow, which is good. I mean, it's blowing hot air up into the rest of the room, but that's clearly doing something. So let's have a quick look at the soldering iron. We'll come back and do that, and we'll go from there. Alright, just a quick add-on from what was that loose thing. Yeah, we've got a big ceramic core. Yeah, that's what that is. So it's in there. Nice little spring in there to fit that on. Once you do take that off, this seems to be a bit looser, so why don't we just quickly see what we can do about taking a tip off and swapping it. There you go, so hollow core, lovely, and that just falls down through it, so you can do that. So then we can grab one of our little guys here, and I think I'll go with one of these little sort of smaller flat tip looking dudes. So no, wrong way around. Drop that in, drop that on, and I guess you just screw it down, because it just sort of sits there. It thinks it's loose, but it's not, in a way. Just tighten that up, give that a bit of one of those, and presumably if you get it in there right, feel like you're doing something. And no, what have I done? Okay, what have I done? Should just, no. Wah. Okay, maybe we insert this guy on first and pop that on there. No. So what's going on is this tip diameter, yeah, not big enough, and or there's a flat corner of it. No, it's perfectly round. Yep, so the tip doesn't fit. So it's actually not machined properly, and there's metal in there. So because it's not machined properly, this tip will never go on. So we have a problem with that. Let's have a look at a few other tips. Okay, we've got another little pointy thing, but it's sort of half flat, so it's like a wedge. Yeah, straight on. Straight on, so that's clearly going to do the business. What about another tip? Oh, there we go. Oh, it's raining tips. Just how we like it. Oh, that one's got a weird, actually bent angle to it. Flares. Probably not on purpose. It looks like it's. Well, it might be. Yep. So that's fine. What about this one here? Could be the one we just had. That's still fine. Grab this little weird screwdriver looking one, and yeah, straight on. So faulty tip as well. Okay. Can't really fix that, but we can certainly let the seller know that, you know, a bit of a quality control issue. So in any case, we can start screwing this down and start screwing that down, I guess. And that will take probably a little bit of force. Might just do this off camera for the leverage. And I'm having all kinds of trouble with it. It doesn't want to go on at all. There is no movement here. I am again stuck, but I think you just have to be a little bit more forceful with it. And once you, yeah, probably screw from both ends. So I think changing tips is not necessarily an easy prospect for this particular iron. It is, it's, well, basically the spring doesn't really want to, you know what, I reckon the spring needs to go down the hole. Ah, okay. Spring came loose, it was, yeah, that's my stupid doing. Okay, that's easy as hell. Yeah, and we'll just tighten that up. So once it's all tight, I don't see that coming loose too often. And you got a bit of a flat side there, so you can grab on with the pliers or whatever, and so that's not too bad. So that's actually probably a nice tip to keep on anyway. So I'll just have a quick visual inspection of these tips, but I think we've just got the one dud. Alright, so it's one dodgy tip as well. Alright, I've plugged it in. I've got it set to 200, which is the lowest setting it will go to. And just want to see if that will do anything. Obviously I'm not going to touch it. I've wet the sponge and it actually fills up a nice area. Then we have some steam, which probably is off camera, so I'll just bring it up to here. There we go. So at 200 degrees it's hot, maybe a little too hot, but again I don't have a temperature gun, so I'm not going to just touch it with my fingers because I'm not a crazy person. But we'll go up to 300 I guess, just to see if it feels too hot on my fingertips. Now I must admit this has got a really nice grip, nice rubber tip there. And a nice little rubber sealing sort of gap there, so you'll feel it with your fingers before you start drifting your fingertip up like that. So in terms of working area, you can get sort of right into it. I think I like that. I can't really smell anything, but it's sort of, there's a bit of a smell that I can't quite. Well, yeah, that's certainly doing the business. So it goes up to I think 480. Wow, it's with 480. So this 480 degrees should obviously boil the water in the sponge. And I'll get some solder in a second and we'll just see what it does. And it does, yeah. Alright, we're back. 200 degrees. It's obviously still hot. Yep. And we'll just see if I can melt some solder. I've just got some leaded, friggin' 1,000-year-old, yeah, leaded solder, whatever, normal shit. And yeah, look, 200's a bit cold, so it's wetting, but just slightly. So yep, I mean that's pretty standard. So I'd expect that. We'll go up to 250, which to be honest I would be using this around between 280 to 320 depending on what I'm doing. With my other iron, that's about right. Yeah, that's melting straight up. So, and that's at 250. So look, I think this soldering iron certainly does the business. I'll have to see that. That's a bad habit, what I'm doing. It really is. You can't have nice things once you do stuff like this. Now, what happens when you just flat turn it off? Good question. No idea. Obviously the microcontroller is doing something because it's flashing. It's telling it to flash 3 lines, so I would assume it's monitoring the temperature, making sure it goes down safe. So I might just, yeah, unless there's anything sticking out that's a problem, I might leave it there. Cool.